Hello, and welcome to At the Leadership Table with retired Major General Jim Hoyer. Oftentimes, people hear the word leader and they think only of political leaders, but leaders come in many forms, and that's worth exploring. I'm Jim Hoyer, born and raised in West Virginia, a husband, a father, a new grandfather, and a retired military leader, serving for over 40 years in public leadership for our state and nation. Now, the most important mission I have going forward is to educate, motivate, and empower our next generation of leaders. At the leadership table with me today is Glenn Jeffries, who's the owner and president of Cornerstone Interiors, a West Virginia-owned company that does design build projects and specializes in a variety of exterior and interior metal framing work, drywall systems, flooring. I know Senator Jeffries and his company to have done a lot of high-end construction projects across the state and the region. And Glenn is a state senator representing the 8th District. I first got to work with him significantly during the 2016 flood recovery. And I will tell you that Glenn is one of the elected officials who worked exceptionally hard to make sure that they were taking care of the people who were impacted by the flooding in West Virginia, and even residents who weren't in his district. He worked hard to take care of. Since then, we built a strong friendship and working relationship related to economic development work in the state. Glenn is currently the state Senate chair of the Economic Development Committee, and I will tell folks he works well above and beyond to help the entire state of West Virginia. So, Glenn, it's my pleasure to have you on at the leadership table today.
Well, General, I appreciate that, and I thank you very much. And I was always a little bit nervous there to get and do an interview with a general before, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Glenn, again, appreciate all the work you've done for the state of West Virginia. I don't think a lot of times people recognize that there are certain folks that just go above and beyond, and you are one of those. I'm going to start by asking you the same first question that we ask all of our guests. Please share with us a standout moment when you learned something really important about leadership.
Well, General, I look at leadership as something that it is necessary to be able to, especially in my world, to be able to run a business. But I think the one thing that really caught my eye and really stood out to me, and you've already mentioned it, was the 2016 flood. You know, as we were all trying to work together and get people back into their homes, I noticed that in the location I was working at, that there was a lack of leadership, and it didn't take very long for me to figure out that what this area needed up here, instead of people going in different directions, they needed someone to be able to delegate and to be able to give the type of leadership that was necessary to be able to get them back into their homes. So out of all the leadership stuff that I have done, that was probably the most important thing, because that flood impacted so many people in the state.
It absolutely did, and you and I both know that a lot of folks were shell shocked because of the magnitude of that event, and a lot of people stepped up in those communities at the right time to do good things and help people recover. So you're from Red House, West Virginia. I think you went to Polka High School and to West Virginia State University. You've been in business and a successful business owner. Tell us a little bit about that background, where you're from, being in business, and how that shapes how you look at West Virginia, both now and going forward.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Putnam County, never left there, and I did go to Polka High School and West Virginia State University, um, and I've always wanted to own my own business, and the appropriate time came in 1997. I was able to take that step out in faith uh, to be able to start my own business, which was called Cornerstone Interiors. Today we are a 348 employee company um, that we do work in West Virginia, Kentucky, and in Ohio. We probably do anywhere from 30 to $35 million a year in volume, and that's where, when we go back to the leadership part, it didn't take me very long to really realize if you're going to have that many employees, it takes someone to make decisions. And that's where I found out really quick that when you have to make certain decisions, they may be wrong sometimes, but you're the one that has to make that decision for those employees. And so that's kind of basically, where I've started from and how it's been a godsend for us, for my family. And I look at it that created a lot of opportunities for people in the state, which I think is important. Someone has to step out and create those opportunities.
So, those who are familiar with construction industry, particularly in the tri-state region, know that Cornerstone has a great reputation. Does a lot of high-end work. You mentioned you got responsibility for 348 folks. So you're doing really well, moving along great in business. What inspired you or drove you to get into public service for our state?
Well, just as I mentioned before, I love creating opportunity. And uh, 9 years ago, I decided that I felt like our state needed to be looking at a different direction to be able to um, improve the livelihood for people in our great state. And I got approached about running. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you, it was the last thing on my bucket list to do. And but I'm glad I did because of the position where I'm at today. It has allowed me to be able to reach out to people, to be able to travel the country, to be able to travel out of country and meet companies, and just to be able to show what West Virginia has, and what opportunities that could be here for them if they would consider West Virginia.
So you and I have talked about a lot of economic development challenges, and we've worked on a number of different projects. You worked well with uh, the administration to make sure some good things happen, but we want a lot of other things to happen going forward. We know we have some challenges as we continue to transition in the energy industry and energy space. So, what do you see as the impediments that we have to overcome as the state of West Virginia to achieve full success in the economic development realm?
Well, I think that the first thing that we need to recognize is as this show is about leadership, and we have to recognize that there's an ever changing world that we live in, and there's an ever changing industry. And what we're seeing today, between AI and all other types of data uh, processing opportunities, we recognize that there is a need and a change of how we generate electricity and how we can be able to power um, these these data centers that are looking to develop in the country. And our number one goal is to show that we can provide that electron that is necessary to be able to provide their um, operation. And I think that we have great leaders currently that are in our legislature, and they recognize that. And I think that you're going to see um, the opportunities to be able to open up for the all above energy. And that's what we've been promoting in our state as an all above energy state. And so as far as impediments, I think that's one thing that we need to really focus and concentrate on. And I'm hoping that we're going to do that this session.
Very good. And as you mentioned, we part of the transition is to become an all of the above energy state. So coal, gas, a whole series of other range of opportunities of generating power. We have history in West Virginia of generating hydro electric power. So broad spectrum of opportunities. Another issue that you and I have talked about related to economic development that a lot of times I think people don't pay enough attention to is in the state of West Virginia. We have some demographic challenges that we've got to work on going forward. Can you talk a little bit about how our population has changed since you and I were growing up in the Kanawha Valley when it was really quite the booming place, 85,000 people in the city of Charleston, and where we are now and what we need to do on that demographic piece?
Yes, there is challenges that our state faces. And it's the same challenge that we see across the nation in a lot of areas. Um, and population is important. We have seen significant loss in population in West Virginia because we just we didn't have the ability to create those opportunities. Um, and we still have challenges here. I mean, you have the urban areas, the Huntington, Charleston, Morgantown, the Eastern Panhandle, where things are flourishing in those parts of the state. But then we have distressed areas in the southern part of West Virginia, mostly in the southern part, and it may be some in the middle of the state. And our goal and our role is to try and create those opportunities. And you know that you and I have been working on trying to bring projects down in the southern part of the state. Even today, we're still working on those, you and I together. But we have to think outside the box and figure out, what we need to do to be able to encourage people to come to the state. We've done a couple of programs as far as when we go and talk with businesses that we know that they're getting ready to expand, and we go and do a presentation to them. We show them what opportunities that are here in West Virginia, and a lot of them have been really impressed about it. The last one I went to was in Tennessee. I went down and met with a company, and I gave him a video of the state of West Virginia, the opportunities here, and right at the very end of it, he said, "I want that video." And so we're hoping, believe it or not, to be able to pull a company out of Tennessee to West Virginia. Uh, that's what we need to be doing.
And you've been involved in a whole range of economic development projects, from new core steel and bringing manufacturing back into our state. You worked with Berkshire Hathaway to help bring the new manufacturing facility that's going to go into Jackson County. I know firsthand that your work there was exceptionally important to making that happen. You talked about the Tennessee project. That's another manufacturing related project, but you're also very honed in on bringing next generation economic development projects. And one of those is working really hard to potentially bring data centers, which is a very fast growing industry. We hear people talking about it every day and how important it's going to be for the future of our nation. Talk a little bit about what a data center is and why West Virginia is a good place to locate data centers.
Well, basically, a data center is a a facility uh, that generates information, brings it in, and stores it, and then sends it out when it is requested. These data centers are large, massive power users. Um, Most of them that we are dealing with today, they want a minimum of 500 megawatts of power. And it's been changing over the past year. It started out that we would like to have 100 megawatts of power, and then 2 months later, it's up to 200 megawatts, and then 300. Now it's up to 500 megawatts. And they are not necessarily job creators. They don't bring much employment, but they do bring a lot of capital investment. They bring a lot of tax structure to the state, to wherever they locate at. And, if you had really been paying attention, the state of Virginia has been what they call Data Center Alley. I mean, that was a place where everyone was building data centers. Well, they have maxed out on their electrical generation. They cannot produce anymore. And so that has started to trickle to West Virginia. And we are a state that has the water, we had the power, and we had that opportunity to be able to attract some. We have a number of, probably, I'm going to say, around 24 to 28 opportunities right now of data centers wanting to locate in the state. And we're working very diligently with them to be able to locate one of them more than 1 year.
So one of the manufacturing facilities that you helped bring to West Virginia, part of an effort by Berkshire Hathaway Renewables to build titanium products in West Virginia, right along where we have other major manufacturing in the aviation industry in Jackson County with Constellium, was a result of you just getting frustrated and sending a letter to probably one of the most successful business people, not just in the United States, but in the world, Warren Buffett. So tell us a little bit about uh, your level of frustration and sending a letter to Warren Buffett and how that led to the opportunity for a manufacturing facility in West Virginia.
Well, General, I was actually up at W, and I was meeting with the research and development department, and I was just amazed at all the opportunities and research that was being done up at the university. And I was driving back home that night, and I just was frustrated with myself that a private investment that we're not seeing in state. We're seeing it all across the country, but we're not seeing it. We was not seeing it in West Virginia. So decided to write a letter and talk about the history of the state, the founding of it, and where it was at that time. And I sent it to Mr. Buffett, and he read the letter. And 10 days later, I get a phone call from a gentleman by the name of Bill Furman. And after many visits here in the state, traveling the state, looking at what opportunities that could be here, we ended up locating a project there at Ravenswood at the old Kaiser Aluminum plant. And that project is called Precision Cast Parts. It's a TIMET division. It's going to employ probably close to around 300 people. I think the final investment, when it's all said and done, is going to be about $1.5 billion. And those are the things that I love to do. I love seeing opportunities like that, and it just goes to show you, if you think outside the box sometimes, just think about that. Just writing a letter, what it has created, and so that was an enjoyable time for me.
And a great testament to your commitment and your focus on taking care of the people of West Virginia, but also your tenacity to just keep going and get things done. So, last question: if we could bring everybody in West Virginia together to focus on one thing right now, what would be that one thing that you would pick, and why?
I think that the one thing that we need to really focus on is getting our state, and when I mean our state, I'm talking from education to uh, right on down the line into the 21st century. Get us prepared as everything starts changing every day, and it's moving at a fast pace. We talk about the impediments as far as workforce. We know that we have some workforce issues, and we need to be addressing them as fast as we can. And then changing how we do business in West Virginia within government. We got to be able to show that we are creating every opportunity for business to be able to look at our state and want to locate here, and then be able to train our workforce. I think that is very, very critical that we continue doing what we are doing. We have a great higher education system in our state, our community technical colleges providing those opportunities. And I think if we keep on creating that momentum, that you're going to start seeing things even rolling, the ball rolling down the hill quicker. And so those are the things that I think that we need to really put ourselves together and keep on creating that opportunity.
Glenn, you and I've talked about this several times. Have grown up in the Kanawha Valley when it was in its heyday, and Union Carbide Research and Development Center, chemical manufacturing, and our desire to see the valley back to that level of prominence that it had back in those days, as well as across the state of West Virginia. So I want to thank you for the work that you do every day as a state senator, as an advocate for the state of West Virginia, as a business owner. And I do want to pay particular thanks to your wife and your kids and your grandkids and your family, because I know they miss out on some time with you because you're spending a lot of focus on taking care of the people of West Virginia. So I greatly appreciate the work you do, and I thank you for taking the time to be with us today on At the Leadership Table.
Well, thank you, General. And as always, I always tell you every time I see you, thank you for your service.
Thanks for listening. This has been At the Leadership Table with retired Major General Jim Hoyer. Did you know you can now find me on social media at RMG Hoyer? That's HOYER, or email me at rmgjameshoyer@gmail.com.